Hey guys, Shirts and Skin Podcast here. Check us out for this episode. We talk Washington State and the all-time performance by Jeanty, where this game ranks in the top home games at Boise State all-time. Talk Pac-12, UNLV, Mark's getting pissed, Matt with some hot takes. The episode starts now.
Shirts and Skins, let's get it. Yo, Shirts and Skins and we back again.
Shirts and skins and skins and skins. Shirts and skins and we're back again. The best coverage in college sports. We come to a ring with Brandon, Mark, and Matt. No one goes hard as that shit. With your folks and to learn where it all be at. It's just three other guys, childhood friends, representing the vibe with a few hot takes, jokes and predictions. Love Boise State. We now welcome you to listen.
How long does this go?
Mark, did we know that song was coming?
No idea.
We didn't know.
It's always...
That sounds like a song you'd be at like at the roller skating rink.
roller skating
Should
rink.
bring back some good memories.
Yeah,
Or like at a middle school dance.
Yeah, hey, great memories. In that case,
What's that ball?
Yeah, the
Disco ball.
Disco ball. Yeah, man.
that's boy band.
Boy band. I liked it. Catchy.
That's the boy band version.
That's boy band version. Yeah.
We've heard like 4 of
Yeah.
25, I think.
Yeah.
So wait for it.
Ways to go.
We got a while. Got a few more episodes.
Catchy. That was catchy. I like it.
Boy band's not bad.
Pretty good. Hey, this is the Shirts and Skins podcast. I'm Matt Lamb, if you don't know by now. I got Mark Moss and I got Brandon Minert here.
What's up?
2 other dudes that we're going to talk about some sports.
Okay.
About some Boise State
Great
football.
intro right there. Nice.
Going it all. Hey, it's 8:30 on a
That's true.
Sunday night.
Yeah.
Getting ready
That
for the
music
work
should have
week.
pumped me up a little bit more, though.
Mom.
Guys, big win over Washington State. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Record-setting attendance. That's awesome.
So I remember going to the Boise, Oregon game in 2007.
9.
The
2009.
punch.
The punch.
Infamous.
Yeah.
People were like hanging off the sides of the stadium. I felt like we had more people last night.
It was that packed.
It was so packed. It was so packed.
Well, we have a lot.
We just have more.
We have more
capacity.
stands. Yeah, we have more capacity.
How is
now.
more capacity added?
The south
South.
end zone's way bigger than it was.
Okay.
And
Did
we
we
have that
have this-
little mini corner thing in the north.
Do we have
and
the
then-
Stickle Sky Club back then in 2009?
I think we did,
Hard to say.
but I'm not positive about that
Anyway.
one.
Great.
Yeah,
The most attended game in Bronco Nation history.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Attended home game. That's awesome. Hats
Yeah.
off to Jeremiah Dickey. The experience, the lights, the sound. Mark, you were in the stadium.
so
We were up in the press box.
Yeah, and I'm glad we're doing this at 8:30 because my voice, it's still a little something, but I had lost my voice. You know what I mean? Like, so I was in the stadium. It was, and I know we're going to talk about this, it was as good of an environment, atmosphere as I can remember there, really. I mean,
Name the best games you've ever been
that
to.
Oregon one, I was in grad school in Arizona. I remember watching it on TV,
Okay,
and it
so
looked
you
like a
weren't there.
madhouse. Yeah, I wasn't there. So the one that comes to my mind immediately was a loss, and it was it was a day game too, but it was TCU.
Yeah.
In like what 10 or 11 or 12, right in that range. That was an intense, insane game, and it was in the back and forth and all that. Other than that,
Top 5 of
This is
your experience.
Oh man, I should have prepared for this.
I was at going way back to the Boston College bowl game.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
Also there.
That was a big deal. It was raining.
That was raining.
That was,
That
a
was
big deal.
wild comebacks. Okay, can I just rattle off a couple?
Yeah.
You know, we beat Oregon State 42-14
Oh, yeah.
one time.
I was at that one.
2006.
I was at that.
That
one.
was after College Game Day came, right?
No,
that
It
was
a
Herb Street.
They did
Different
come for
one.
that one,
Herb
but
Street was there. That was sweet. I was
Yeah.
actually glimpsed on ESPN that day. So maybe that contributed. But
your-
that was a fun one. I would say Oregon, TCU-ish, I guess.
okay.
I'm trying to go back. I mean, other than that, it's just like basically out of conference.
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
that it's like
Who have we
we're
played out of
talking about
conference?
this whole Pac-12 thing and everything, and it's like, well, like think of a big time conference game that was that type of game, and the only one I can think of is TCU because they
know-
were in our conference for 1 year, and we just don't. we've had big games. Like Fresno State's had some big ones here. Utah State one year they came in ranked, and it was a big game. But this was big. I can tell my voice sucks, so sorry. But this was big. But what made this one even better, not only was the game just super entertaining and the Jeanty factor and everything, but credit again to what Jeremiah Dickey and his staff has done. The atmosphere or the game day experience is just every year better and better and better. And last week I did make the mistake. I was in the press box last week, and I kind of said something like, "Oh, I didn't notice the sound system." Well, I was down in my normal seats. Massive upgrade. I mean, you could feel it. Like you could feel the bass type of thing. And we were on the west side towards the south end zone a little bit where the speakers are coming from. But I mean, between that and the lights, and they got it pretty dialed in with the right type of music. I mean, it's just fun. I mean, if you haven't, anyone's probably watching this has been to games, but like if you have not been to a game for a while, like I'm trying to think of things to do, like activities, like that you pay money to do at a venue. Like there's nothing better in Boise. There's nothing better than to go to Boise State football game right now.
You made mention of the music selection.
Yeah.
Right? 10 had some Zach Bryan.
10 out of 10 on a few of those.
Like the videos they show during timeouts.
Yeah. To get to that point, there was a time, and it was pre-Jeremiah Dickey, where the game day environment experience wasn't great. We were winning most of the time, but it wasn't amazing. It was easier to watch it from home because there were late starts, late in the year, and the game was, you'd probably get a better view just from your couch. Yesterday and last week, you could tell there's like an experience that you're missing out on, which is great. Again, yes. It's great. And Agreed. I really think that the number of people that have moved to the Valley are waiting and wanting something to do special to this area, which it is Boise State football games. I mean, really, I think there's a huge amount of people that would love to jump in waiting for this type of year and this type of player.
Yeah, that's the thing. The experience is awesome, but if you haven't seen Ashton Jeanty in person, go, right?
Yeah.
Is Utah State sold out?
Yes.
It's sold out.
We got 3 more games that aren't, though, yet. They're still a ways off. But
man, talk about fun player to watch.
Yeah, I think we're going to look back, and it's going to be like, I saw Ashton Jeanty in person. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I wish I would have seen so-and-so. I wish I would have seen.
Do you say that about Kellen Moore?
I think so. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the era. It wasn't what Ashton Jeanty is doing is different than Kellen, right? But I was telling Brandon before when we were waiting for you, Matt.
Yeah, I was a little late.
That as far as an individual performance, putting his team on his back and taking them to victory, I can't think of one that I've been in person in football. I remember I was in the house for Derek Marks when he put the team on his back. He had like 30 in the second half of a big-time league game, and we had a great season. It was amazing. And I was in the house when Chandler Hutchinson went for 40-something against San Diego State.
44.
And it was like you knew you were witnessing it, and he had the ball, and that's what it felt like with Jeanty. It last night. It was incredible.
Well, it's like every run you feel he could break this. He could go. And there's a couple like ankle shoestring tackles where you're like, man, he was going to go take it to the house on that play.
He had that one, maybe it was in the third quarter,
where from one side of the field to the other, right?
No, well, if I don't remember it right, but he got past the first line and he was wide open field and we're like 70-yarder again, and then he just got tripped up a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty special. Can we talk about Ashton?
So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. He may turn out to be. So we've all watched college. Everybody here has probably watched college football.
Everybody in this room, I think.
I think so. But for a long time, right? We've all been watching for a long time. So we've seen a lot of players go through. My favorite college football players of all time, Reggie Bush, Mike Vick, and it was because of what they did for their team most of the time. Like what Mike Vick did for Virginia Tech. They couldn't have been anywhere near where they were at. Let me think of some of the other ones I really, really loved. But Jeanty is legitimately getting to that Reggie Bush type level for me.
And I saw that on Twitter. I don't remember who it was, but saying like he is Reggie Bush type talent.
Which is special, dude. Put
It's
him back
amazing.
there for punt return now. Reggie did it. Like, put him back, like, use him more, like, if that's where we're going. But, I mean, it's special. And the fact that we have that type of player, I think there's so many text messages looking back thinking, wow, we're lucky.
Yeah.
We are lucky, dude.
Well, you look back, and we've had so many great running backs, right, through the years.
Incredible.
And we named them on our last pod or the pod before. But, man, he's another level.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of recently just like Jay being amazing, right?
He was great.
And Jeanty's above that. I mean, they're a different type of runner, but you look at Jeanty and you're like, man, this guy is amazing. Like I said, every run you think he's good, he could go.
And it's what he does, too, for the team, because the better he does, the more confidence they have. You know, like the better the defense plays, the more the O-line holds on to a block, the better the receivers are going. And it just like builds in confidence, which we haven't had a player probably since Kellen Moore that did that.
The thing that was
Right?
the most, but yeah, I mean, the thing that was the most special about last night specifically compared to the other 3 nights that, the other 3 games so far this year was that, and Jay Tuss put out the stats, I think he had 259 rush yards, and 235 of them were after contact. It's like the first 3 games, there were big holes. Like Georgia Southern, there were massive holes, right? Even Oregon, he was special, but there were some big holes, and his backups were running for 100 yards, Georgia Southern and Dylan, you know. But last night, I mean, it was the Jeanty show. Like, and I know that I'm not going to bash on the O-line, but it was not like they were creating massive holes. Like, it was a lot of him, and you don't have to look too far into the stats to see that when his backups got a couple touches, which they didn't get a lot, it went backwards, you know. So without him, we would have been in trouble last night. I mean, he was special. I mean, it was as good of an individual performance as I can remember.
I'm interested to see how Sire Gaines would have done against Washington State.
Breezy didn't do much.
He would just, you know, and this is his first game time, you know, play, but he would just kind of run into the line, get tackled, not be able to break a tackle. I actually did something I haven't done in a long time this morning.
What's that? Shower?
Been a while. I went on to opposing school's newspaper.
Oh, I did that too.
I haven't done that in forever, dude. I haven't done that maybe 8 years, just to see what they were saying. And it was mixed reviews. Like, we sat next to the Coug fan guys, and they were like, we're not good. This was on us. But then the Spokane review was Ashton Jeanty. And, you know, their point of view was we missed so many tackles. And when you look at it from that perspective, a few of Genty's runs, it was a comedy of errors, dude. They were like guys that were like hitting him like this and just not closing their arms.
Like the
and
guy
like,
hit him that bounced him to the outside that gave him the touchdown.
Just bing, 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 you know? And so, I don't know, that was pretty wild. Yeah, it was a special experience to see that, right? I mean, really, Breezy, to the contrast between our backup running back and Ashton Jeanty was so huge. I don't think we're all in agreement. We don't win that game. I don't even know if we get close to winning that game if Ashton Jeanty's not there, right?
Yeah, and obviously the numbers would be different,
wild, dude.
But Breezy, he had 4 rushes for -3 yards.
Dude, how about this? The first play for Washington State quarterback,
52 yards.
how many yards did he end with rushing?
28.
28.
So he averaged 1.4 yards
Can
rushing.
you believe that?
So
And he had another long rush too, right?
yeah, he had some rushes. I mean, we had 7 sacks on him.
wild.
And he made some mistakes, like taking some of those sacks and going backwards. But, I mean, last night was the Ashton Jeanty game, right? We have the Derek Marks game. We've had these games, right? The Max Rice game in basketball,
That's
a couple
true.
of those.
Yeah.
That was the Ashton
But
Jeanty
have we
game.
ever had a
But
football individual
not really.
game?
Not really. But that said, the defense, and we've, on this pod, there's been a lot. The defense played fantastic last night. I mean, they played, and the scheme, whatever, the blitzes, 7. They didn't sack us once, and we sacked them 7 times.
And
Dude,
they had only
that
had
guy
5 going into last night.
That quarterback was just getting murdered.
Yeah,
he was
he
getting
was.
beat
Big
down.
plays.
Yeah, and that was super impressive.
So yeah, I mean, Prater put it out there. What was more impressive, Jeanty or the defense?
Jeanty.
That Jeanty. I mean, that's
It's more
that's so
exciting. It's more
short-sighted.
sexy, but
No,
it's true though.
the
It's
I'm sorry, Prater, but come on. The defense gave up 400 yards. They were good.
Last night?
Yes. It was not like they were great from what we had expected, from what we've been seeing, and from what Washington State, like I was very worried they were going to put up 45 points, no doubt. But come on, Prater. I mean, this is Jeanty. Defense looked great. They look good. Come on.
I think it was how it started. Because we went down and scored, and they went down and scored, and now we all thought, oh, boy, here we go.
It's track meet.
It's a track meet. Here we go. And then they just didn't. You know, we kept sacking them out of field goal range, and we would just get them on 4th and short and 3rd and short, and just, man, that was – but how good does that make you feel, right? I mean, I don't know how good Washington State is, but they're good. They're undefeated.
They beat 2 Power 4 teams.
Yeah.
I mean, back to the defense, you know – last year, I feel like Rodney Robinson and Tubner got a lot of had issues and heard about it probably. Yeah. Both of them have played really well this year. Robinson played great last night.
Yeah, that huge sack, right?
Huge sack that put him. I mean,
out of field goal.
And we're talking about defense, right? The biggest play. It's so funny how I know we talked about this that the football's game momentum and all these things. That 4th down stop. First of all, how they ever called that a first down first?
I know.
It's like,
that
what
was
are
stupid.
you talking? That was the biggest play of the game. Well, that was the biggest single game. I think so. Because we got it there like 29 or 27 and scored a couple plays later and opened it up to that was
tell you what I
such
thought
a big
was?
play. Go ahead.
So they came out in the 3rd quarter with a 16-play drive and didn't convert any points. I actually thought that was the biggest one because it could have been a tie game. Or it could have been 14-17. Is that right?
No, it could have been a tie game. It was 17-10. They came down.
Well,
we led 17-10 at halftime.
At 17-10. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That whole stretch, they had 16 plays, and I thought the fact that we sacked them out of field goal range, that was, I thought, a huge turning point. And then it was just like piled on, go, which was a big deal because I think we only scored 1 touchdown in the 3rd quarter.
We did. We did win the 3rd quarter, 7-0. So that's a big deal because we haven't been winning the 3rd quarter.
Right. But it was kind of it was a battle back and forth. They came in and got a touchdown quick in the 4th quarter, but then we really just, I think, learned a lot as a team, which sounds so stupid as a fan. But you got to learn to like close it out. You can't let them in. You cannot let them in. And so that type of game you have to establish. Every team has to establish themselves as like a closer, and that could have brought them a little bit more towards that goal.
And other than that garbage touchdown at the end, I mean,
they were
45-17 really was the final score, and that's dominance. That's just,
it really is.
And if you had the over, that last touchdown hit the over.
Did it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to talk about a couple things though
Sorry. Just before we get into that, I wanted to update us on the top 5 games. Okay. You must have shot a text out to the group. How did we forget some of the BYU games?
So I was going to mention that the 2 that we played in 2002 and 2003, one was at home. Yep. That was like a missed field goal for the win.
Yeah.
That I heard was just, I wasn't there.
I wasn't there either.
That was just amazing. Matt and I actually went to a Mountain West game, championship game against Fresno a couple years back with Harsin.
That was big.
That was a tense game back and forth quite a bit.
Yes.
That I actually really enjoyed, but it was a different enjoyment.
And we won that game. This wasn't the Fresno State game we lost.
Yeah, we barely won that game. It was back and forth.
Yep.
That was a fun experience just because it was close. It was tight. There was Fresno fans. It was back and forth, but we didn't really calm down until this was entertaining, exciting, so it was a different type of, but.
Yeah. The other one that I don't know how I forgot, but the BYU game that we blocked the kick at the last second.
Yeah.
And then they got it back and they threw a Hail Mary and the guy basically dropped it.
Yeah.
That was, so we blocked it, but it never went past the line of scrimmage and it was on 3rd down.
Yeah,
I didn't even know the rule.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And they got a Hail Mary. And so that one was huge. The Canadian Bacon one, 7-6. I was in that one.
I hated that game.
But it was super intense.
It was intense.
And then even the one that they won last time was great. But so there's some BYU games that have been great too. We can't not mention those.
I mean, BYU is going to be 2 or 3 out of the top 10.
Yeah. No,
maybe Fresno rounds out a couple more, and I don't know.
I just think looking back in those days, the cool part or the cool aspect of the game was like, hey, we're going to be on TV. Like ESPN is going to be here. That's what kind of generated some of the excitement. And now you go to the games and it's like it's a totally different experience. When they're playing Seven Nation Army, the horse comes out, the team comes out of the tunnel or whatever.
Yeah.
The place is rocking, it's loud. I was wondering, so last game against Portland State, by the time Friends in Low Places came on, the game was out of reach. And this one, I'm like, it's still kind of a game.
Yeah.
How is Friends in Low Places going to, how's that going to come across?
Yeah.
Dude, students were singing it, and I'm wondering, do these kids even know the lyrics to the song that's how old? But they were right there, and hats off to the student section, man.
Yeah, man.
They hung around for a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was funny because the upper deck started filing out, but you've got that row there that has to keep track of the false starts. And I wonder who draws, do they draw straws on that? Like, hey, you gotta stick
if
around.
you've been around, if you go into the games for the last 20 some years, student section just gets ripped on for like a decade plus, just for, I don't know, for whatever reason, but no, it was great. It was great. Can we talk about what didn't go well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I actually thought there was 3 things, but 2 things in particular.
Okay.
I think we have a problem that we need a better deep threat quarterback, wide receiver game going on. Like explosive play in the pass game, I think that would round us out as one of the better offenses, which I think we are. More multifaceted attack. I think like that deep ball, like middle of the field, deep throw, I don't think we're great. Like the throws that Madison made that we scored touchdowns on were like 10-yard throws, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean
they were
yeah.
There were nothing special. They were, yeah.
And we were trying to go to Bolt, and a few, he had that horrible holding call, which he didn't have a chance at. And then the other one was a little over his head, but we weren't able to strike deep. I think that's a problem.
Yeah. Up to this point, it hasn't.
I thought we would have hit Prince Strawn on a deep pass by now.
Yeah.
And it hasn't
agree.
happened. Or Bolt, which, guys, I made a hot take.
Yeah. You did.
That's true.
I think, in my mind, it actually happened. Pass interference, holding in the end zone. How many times are you going to throw to him?
It's a face mask.
Face mask.
Face mask, too, yeah.
Didn't work out.
But on that drive, Austin Bolt created some havoc.
He did.
He did.
So
I just think, look at how many 70-yard touchdowns that we have. A lot.
They're all
it's just what we do now. It's what we do.
They're all Jeanty running. They're not passing at all.
Coach, we're 60 yards out. And he's like, I don't care. Just run it.
Get Hail Mary, Jeanty.
No, hand off.
That's a problem to me. I think that's a problem.
So, yeah. And so you got to remember 2 of our best receivers were out, right? Caples and Marshall, I don't know. He was a big we don't know, but he's out.
Well, Cam Camper's still our number 1 guy.
And he didn't,
a decent catch.
I think I don't know if you were leading in this direction, but I'm going to go there.
Oh, here we go.
And I'm not saying I will say this each time we have this conversation. And I know that the like Bedell and Riddle last night, they didn't want to get into it, right? Because we're winning and we're, whatever.
Makes sense, yeah.
And that's fine. Totally agree. I'm not going to, but Matt, you got stats, right?
Yeah, we threw for 184 yards.
Okay.
Louder, obviously, was the top receiver, 96 yards. I know where you're going with this. Camper had 50. Penry had 26.
Looked okay. Here's the thing.
What were the passing stats?
12 for 21.
Okay. Yeah, so
About
12 for 21, 184
51%.
yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception.
Okay.
Completion percent, 57. Rating, 152.6.
Yeah, I don't know. The rating thing doesn't make sense to me necessarily. I don't know what that means. But against Oregon, 47%. Against Washington State, 54%. Cutter himself said the standard's 70. They want 70. If we don't have Jeanty, I'm just going to say it. Our quarterback play is not good enough to win us a game right now against a good team.
Well,
it's not. If we didn't have Jeanty last night, we don't win that game.
And if you want to get to 70% completion percentage, you can't have as many tipped balls as we have. That's a problem. And I think at the line of scrimmage, but also we had a tipped ball that was an interception.
Yep. Well, it was right. Yeah.
He tipped it right, but it was,
It's an interception.
So that's an issue.
It's like we're 3-1. We're ranked again. Like it's all positive, it's all good, but we might as well talk about it. And it's just, I'm a little, I don't know. I said it before the season started. At some point, and knock on wood, but what if Jeanty tweaks whatever? The reality is running backs don't usually make it through an entire season without having a half or a game or whatever. They get dinged up, right? And against a really good team, a UNLV, maybe Oregon State or whatever, or someone bottles them up. We'll see. Mad Dog's gonna have his chance to win a game or two. When Jeanty's out or they're bottling him up or it's just not working, every great player has those games, right? To this point, I'm not sure that we've shown that our quarter, that's there yet. And I just don't know. We don't need to start talking about next year, but I'm not convinced that our starting quarterback for next year is on our roster.
What do you want to see?
Not 12 for 21.
Okay, tell me what you want to see.
I want to see a quarterback that's efficient, that is somewhere in the 65 to 70% range. The best thing about Madsen is that he doesn't take sacks. That is his shining, glowing thing. That's his highlight. He doesn't take sacks.
Because most of his throws were 15 yards or less. He had a couple 2-to-bolt deep. He had maybe another one deep. But most of those, so you take away 3 or 4, most of them are pretty short. And then in the first half, he was throwing at feet.
Yeah. Or behind.
This was the first game I felt like he had several misses that were big misses.
Across the middle, but he threw it behind him.
Yeah.
And he caught it. But
he had one to Penry that went through 2 guys' arms.
Dude.
That was like
from our vantage point, it was like, how did that get through there?
Yeah.
And
then another one to the D line that could have, got picked off again. So
that screen.
One of those is
that's
gonna
the second
get
game where that screen has been blown up and it gets thrown to a D end or
I don't know. Again, we won the game. We're looking on. I don't want it, but I'm just saying, like, if Jeanty's not next year, we're not gonna have Jeanty, and we probably won't have Dirk Cutter. We're going to need quarterback play better than we're getting. Now, he's only a sophomore. I'm not saying bench him. I'm not saying anything other than I don't think he's been great. He hasn't.
No.
Yeah, he hasn't been great, and I think a lot of that gets covered up by how good Jeanty is. Right?
Exactly.
You don't have to be great when you have that good of a running back, but you have to be good enough, and I think he's been good enough.
But the fact that you have Jeanty should make you that much better.
I agree.
Because they're cheating on the run.
The third,
right?
yeah, they're cheating. Everybody's looking at Jeanty and not you. I mean, last year he had it much harder, and he was doing better, making plays a little bit better. I mean, he had 3rd and longs, right? And now it's like mostly 3rd and less than 10, maybe around 6, which is where I think quarterbacks need to really come in. And I think also connecting deep, we're not throwing tons of picks. Right, I mean the Wazoo guy, he got over his toes way too much. Right, he threw that pick at the end of the first. He got sacked way too many times. Mm-hmm. I mean, he made some bad, and then they started dropping balls there at the end. It was weird. Like they kind of went downhill there. But yeah, I mean, to Mark's point, I'm just trying to think, what do we want to see from him? Like what's his ceiling, and how close is he to that ceiling? Like that's
I'd
a
like
tough
to see
question.
Them utilize his running more.
I agree.
I think there was one time when he pulled it and he ran, he was a little late, and so the pocket had already collapsed and he couldn't get through that opening that was there. But yeah, there was one towards the goal line. It was at the north end zone. I don't remember when it was, but he could have faked the handoff and just taken it around, and it was wide open. He could have scored. So I'd like to see him run more. He can run.
And now that I think about it, watching that play, you're like, oh, why didn't he pull that? And now when you think about it, you're like, why would you ever give the ball to anybody but Jeanty to run?
That's a good point.
It doesn't matter. But, there's so many flashes of Grant Hedrick.
Yeah, I think there are.
Hedrick was incredible. I mean, he won us that Fiesta Bowl in a lot of ways. Like, he got us to that point, and he was slashing with his
stats.
Hedrick's, but he had times where he struggled too.
Yeah, but I mean, Madsen, he's still young. He's still young. He hasn't started a ton of games, but I mean, Hedrick's threw for like 70%, right?
Every game?
On the year, on his senior year. And granted, I'm saying senior year, right?
Yeah.
This guy's only a sophomore, so I'm not ready to bury him. I'm just saying that I think it's going to have to be better at some point. And the Oregon game, I feel like it was a lot of his numbers were poor, but I felt like a lot of that was like, man, those receivers were really covered up. And last night, most of his yards were just because of the play action, which was working, were really easy, Pat. Both touchdowns. They were pretty easy reads, pretty easy throws, and the run. But there wasn't a single pass. There wasn't one pass last night that he made that was like, whoa, that was a pro pass. That was a pass, right? Like there wasn't one that was like super impressive. Whereas the other kid actually had a couple, the Washington State kid. But what was Hedrick's numbers?
So 2013, Hedrick had a completion percentage of 69% on that season. And in 2014, it was 70.8.
Yeah, so I mean,
the TD to interception ratio, though, in 2014, 23 TDs and 14 interceptions.
He had a 4 game. Whoa. He had 2 games that year where he threw 4 picks.
Yeah. Air Force?
Air Force and Ole Miss.
Ole Miss a few. Yeah, so I don't know. I just let's not get it. It's all about this year. It's all about making the college football playoff, winning this championship or whatever. But I do and you question, because the coaches, before the season, they kind of said, here's our expectations. I didn't make that up. Hey, we want to see this much percentage. And like you said, I think with Jeanty, it should be easier to be a higher percentage. And he's 50-something% right now. And there's a FCS game in there. And I think he has to get better. And the thing is, and we haven't even mentioned Malachi, I totally trust that Cutter is playing the guy they think is best. But you do wonder, if this is our best, if 55, that was Taylor Green. He was mid-50s percentage-wise. If this is our best, then what exactly is going on with Malachi? I think you have to ask. Now, let's just say this. We're 3-1. We're ranked 21st in the country. Do you pull him now and put in Malachi? I don't think you do. But I wouldn't. But it's is it too late? Do we go to UNLV and they bottle up Jeanty and the quarterback play isn't great and we lose the game? And then do you do it? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think it's going to take something pretty bad.
It's going to take a loss.
I think it's going to take either a loss, multiple interceptions.
Yeah.
Just kind of a meltdown for that to happen. Because there were signs yesterday or last night where you're like, ooh, this isn't going great. After the pick.
Early.
And you're it's going into the second half. Could we see Malachi? But then you think about it, and you're like, why? We don't need it.
But he got better.
He got better. He did.
He got much better.
And that's why I think you leave him in, right?
Yeah.
You give him the chance to overcome those mistakes. And he did get better. He hit louder. He threw some great balls. And
maybe that is a good building block for getting a higher ceiling or getting better or closer to the ceiling that he has and fulfilling that potential.
And he's only a sophomore, right?
Yeah.
So
there's room to grow.
There's
room to grow. Let's hope he does.
I think, the last one that I have?
The negative, you were going into some quasi-negatives?
Second negative.
Yeah, well, so I thought the first negative was
no deep ball.
No deep ball. I thought the second was quarterback play.
Okay.
And then I thought the third is our cornerbacks. I think are still not
at least on one side for sure.
Yeah. Well, I just think watching, so the fourth down or the fourth quarter touchdown they got was just a 9-go route from the start.
Uh-huh.
And it was, just poor play, whatever. But
you pointed out to me, you're like, there's no double move.
There was no double move. There's no reason to get caught behind, and he was behind, right? And so that's a problem. And everybody on our and Johnny Mallory tweeted this, everybody's like, why aren't they testing our secondary on the sides more?
I know.
Everybody says that. We all know it's the glaring weakness. Why aren't they doing that?
We're not watching as much film as they are.
Is it the pass? Maybe they were trying to, and we had 7 sacks. Maybe it was the pass rush that we just forced them to. Thank goodness. Right?
But look at that. But look at that play. But there were a few plays they did make by just being there, right? It wasn't that they turned around and made a play on the ball. It wasn't that they turned around and did it. They were there. They got in the way, which is what you need to do. That's step 1. But step 2 is to have the confidence to start being there more often and start making a play on the ball. And I think that's still one weakness that we have. I actually think our front 7 and our 2 safeties are pretty good. And good enough to compete with high-level ranked opponents. Obviously, Oregon and a lot of the teams we've played. Mm-hmm. But I do think that's an area that I thought we shored up, which is so interesting.
Why did you think we shored it up?
Because we brought guys in.
Oh, just from the transfer point. Yeah.
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 I thought that's what we went after, and maybe they just haven't worked out. But I still think that's an area that if teams went after, maybe you just scheme your defense differently. But I think that's an area of concern.
It is. I don't have a ton to add to that. But, yeah, I mean, I think we're susceptible to the deep ball. Thankfully, they didn't try. They tried the one deep ball, and they got it. They probably tried more, and thank goodness our rush got there. So, but that's not always going to happen either. So, this isn't a perfect team.
Yeah,
those are the weak. I think that, even the bluest to blue-blooded fan, I think if you had to say, what were some of the weaknesses you're still seeing, I think those are probably them. And I'm sure the guys are working hard to get it better, but the corner stuff it's the concerning part is it's multiple years now. So
can I talk about an interesting development from last night? The kicking game.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
We have Shive doing kickoff. That's how we start the game, right? So it's not Dalmas.
He's the normal kickoff guy last couple games.
Normal
right?
kickoff guy. He's been doing it. I've been doing the short pooch sideline stuff that 2 of them have gone out of bounds.
Yeah.
One last game and one last night.
Yep.
And then you see Ferguson Reynolds get hurt. I don't know what his status is, but he was in a boot, I think.
That's what I heard.
So he's going to be out for a little bit. So you move Shive to punting duties, and then you move the third stringer.
The third stringer came in.
I forget his name, number 30.
Yeah.
And guy is kicking it into the end zone every single time.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, we waited to get our third stringer to do what we should have been doing all season?
Yeah.
And one thing we noticed, too, when he kicked it, he runs,
dude,
all the way to the end
you
zone.
see it?
He is pumped. And you love to see it because how often does a guy get on the field? He's just doing kickoffs.
Yeah.
And it's like he won the game. He runs in the end zone, number 30.
Yeah.
So awesome.
It is funny. You watch him so he'll kick it. He'll go in the end zone. Everybody runs to the end zone and then runs to the sideline, but he doesn't. He stays in the south end zone like he scored a touchdown.
No way.
And he's slapping fans.
Dude.
He's high-fiving guys. He's like pumping them up. He's getting his chest going.
I didn't see that.
It's hilarious, dude. It's really good.
Do you think Dalmas is it possible he's nursing a little bit of an injury?
But a lot of times the kickoff, it's not uncommon to have the bigger leg guy go do the kickoff because then, you don't risk just some dumb thing happening on a tackle or something.
Jarrett Reeser is his name.
Yeah.
That's what I have here.
Yeah.
It's just odd, that we're kind of like, oh, he's going to be, he should be an NFL kicker. And it's like, we're not letting him do kickoffs.
Yeah.
It seems important.
I just don't get why they had the other guy kicking it short.
I don't know either, but kicking it in the end zone is definitely the way to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even if they returned it a couple times, we stopped it.
Yeah, we did.
I think that's the strategy.
Yeah, but that's too bad for Ferguson Reynolds, man. I hope he's not out long, but what an awesome player, awesome punter. The guy's cool.
Yeah, I don't know what happened on that. I didn't see the replay.
A guy got blocked.
Into
Our
him?
guy, right? That's what I saw. Pushed into him, rolled, got his leg caught under him.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's not too bad.
So
The safety.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I was in the stadium, so I didn't, and I haven't watched the TV copy. I'm sure there'll be a sleepless night sometime this week that I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But, it sure looked like
was
a
a safety
to me.
100%.
And they're saying that it was
Forward
a
progress.
forward progress.
Yeah.
But then
Can't
he
review it.
tried to get out of it.
It's so stupid. They called it dead. In my opinion, they called it dead too early.
Oh, so they didn't call it dead.
Well, they, ish.
That
right?
was a safety.
It was so
man.
stupid. Dude, I feel like refs are so stingy with giving out safeties. Guys will be tackled in the end zone, and they're like, nah, forward progress, half-inch line. And you're like, dude, he got up. He put the ball down in the end zone.
Yeah. He was trying to get out of it, and he got pushed back.
And then he got tackled, and you're like, dude, you got to give him that, man. Like, that was atrocious.
Because you think if that play happened anywhere else on the field, they would have spotted it where he went down. Right?
Well, and they gave it to him like at the 2.
Yeah.
It wasn't
I
like at the half-yard line. I'm like, where?
He was bobbling the ball.
Wasn't even close.
No,
What?
that was lame. If
weird.
that would have come down, if that would have been a factor,
Yeah.
so angry.
Talk about factors in games real quickly. That Virginia Tech Miami finish.
Oh, yeah, that did make sense to me.
Unbelievable.
Dude, I don't like it when refs are in charge of the win like that. I don't like that.
Well, what you also don't like is, and I'm not saying this necessarily happened because I'm sure those things are recorded, but I mean, Miami's undefeated. They're playing an ACC team that already has, I think, 2 losses. Yep. It goes to the booth that's covered by who?
ACC.
The ACC. So who knows what?
Yeah.
Well, Who do you think? Who would be better to win
What do
that
you think,
game?
Mr.
What do you
Commissioner?
think? You know, like I don't know, but that was bizarre. Like what an amazing play by that
Came
kid.
down. In slow motion, he had it.
And then they said that maybe someone that was out of bounds maybe touched it, but it's like the call on the play
Was a touchdown.
was a touchdown. There's no way that it's got to be irrefutable, right? Like that was lame.
They said, or at least I read something said he was out of bounds and touched the ball, right? Isn't that what?
Someone else
was out of bounds, and therefore the play was done.
Which is true, but I didn't think it was. I watched it back a few times, and I was like, I don't think you can definitively say that he didn't have control when that guy was touching the ball. And
If you're the ump on the field and you're on the little camera, if you're like watching the TV and they say reverse it, you're like, I don't know, bro. Like that looks like a touchdown to me. Like
You saying I wasn't right?
yeah, like I don't know too much about that. Yeah, I hate it when refs are in charge like that, and it's not clear. You just gotta leave it as the call, and it is what it is.
yeah, I agree.
But it just opens up for controversy. Every year, there's how many? 10 of those plays where you
Several.
just
yeah,
I don't know.
A couple other tidbits on my part. So there was a couple reviews, 2 in a row there. Sorry,
It's all right.
my voice, but that fourth down that we stopped, that was reviewed. Why are they not doing reviews in the stadium? When
Okay,
did that
right by
stop?
the press box. Oh, it just says instant replay.
It just says like Sparklight, or it's like a promo, and they didn't show
Well, why aren't they showing it on
like on the video board.
I don't know.
Like were they
hated
worried? And like even like
Because no joke, when a play like that happens, you have to look on the TV,
uh-huh.
the Fox broadcast.
Oh, right.
And you're looking for the replay.
Yeah.
Because they're not showing it in the
Why
stadium.
would they not show it in the stadium? Like I don't understand that at all. It's like frustrating because you want to see it. You saw it live. They replay other plays.
Yeah.
Like it's frustrating. That's a weird one.
What did you guys think about the Fox FS1 broadcast? Have you heard about it?
That's
I
lame.
heard about it. That's so that's so lame.
And they make they shoot it as if they're there, right?
Yeah.
It's like a green screen as if they're in the press box.
I didn't watch any of the, just from like looking back, just seeing like little clips, but I didn't watch any of it. So I don't know if it was different. I know in basketball, that's really common just because basketball, they're traveling for weeks and
There's a
weeks
lot
and
of
weeks,
games.
tons and tons of games. But this, they fly in on a Thursday?
Probably.
They fly out on a Sunday. And, I don't know how much that cost Fox Sports 1.
Yeah, I wonder how much more crew needs to be involved other than the 2 announcers.
Yeah.
A sideline.
Yeah, I guess the 3 sideline, but who else? Like, are there other?
But did they
staff
come
that need to
anyway?
come?
Did they come and film anyway?
Well, you
or
know
they
that
just,
the camera people are there and the audio people are there because they need all that for the broadcast.
so they could have just had just like those 2 plus a spotter. I don't know.
Me and you could have done it, I think.
Well, call us. Yeah, you don't have to pay any travel fee. I
we'll
think
do it.
that's. Hold on.
I don't know. Dude, Washington State sucks.
It's frustrating. I mean, the whole thing was frustrating. They held that game till Monday, or I think Monday or a week to decide what channel it was going to be on, right?
Yeah.
And so they put the Fox, they gave us FS1. The
Who was on
Fox
Fox?
game was Oregon against UCLA.
And Oregon won.
Yeah, that
Oregon-
makes sense.
Yeah,
Right?
I don't. Yeah.
2 big name teams.
I mean, that's it. That's just what it is. I mean, you knew that our game was, but the thing was, it's in the Rose Bowl, less than half filled, the Rose Bowl. And the environment, like what we were saying, it was, and that stuff shows up on TV, like
Yeah,
on
it
Fox
does.
and ESPN. Like, they do a good production
was
when
the
it's their
Oregon?
main. It was the exact same
Same
time.
time.
And it's just like, it's Big Ten versus the Mountain West or whatever. But to not have Papa Dix, and I like him, he's kind of fun to listen to, but to not have him there.
Papa Davis. Papa
Petros.
Petros
Papadakis.
Papadakis.
Papadakis. He's good.
He's good, but that's frustrating because I haven't seen the game back. I kind of saw some comments that it sucked or whatever, but I haven't heard. But I watched a game. I think it was San Diego State, Central Michigan. I was watching a little bit, and you could tell it was CBS Sports, and you could tell 100% they weren't there.
I know on basketball
And it
you
was
can
like,
tell.
this is not. And if that's what our game was like, that game deserved more.
Yeah, I agree.
It did. A 4-0 team against a ranked team, packed house. It deserved better than that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Can I talk a little bit about our experience, Brandon?
What do you got?
Me and you,
Yeah.
press box.
Yeah.
So we park at the Brady Garage.
Yep.
Like all certified media members do. Can and do.
Often.
And how did we make it from the garage to the
You rode
stadium?
my 7-year-old scooter.
little Razor scooter.
Matt's 6'5". My 7-year-old is what? 4 feet tall.
Motorized?
No, Mill
You
Mini
were
guy.
kicking
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And the handlebars come up to like just
Yeah.
above my knees.
Well, Matt's got what, size 18 shoes or something.
14.
And so it barely fits on. But the
And
problem
Brandon's
is,
got a bigger wheel one.
I had a bigger wheel
He had
one.
a big kid one.
We switched though on
We
the way
switched.
back. But anyway, we're going to work like we do, and some guy starts yelling at us that we're in the walk only lane.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, it was walk only.
Was it
no
Bob Beeler?
scooters.
No,
Might have
I'm
been
like,
Paul J. I
bro,
don't
come
know.
on, we got a mini scooter guy
Like,
over
we're
here.
trying to get to work. We're not telling
We're
you how to
late
live
for
your
work.
life. We're late for work. We're trying to get some hot dogs. So that was funny. We got a couple comments. Some people told us to do a wheelie. But you see two 40-year-old guys riding through campus on scooters. It's a
Mini
fun
scooters.
Yeah, that was
spectacle.
I heard that there potentially was some quasi cheering that occurred there.
Okay.
Can you tell me about that?
there was.
'Cause
It was a packed press box.
Yeah.
You had more Washington
Okay.
State people. Portland State, I don't know if they had anybody. If they did, it was very
I saw
few.
some with the polo.
But it was packed. They actually had, we were on the assigned seating
Oh, we had
list.
name tags.
Oh, thankfully.
So previously it was just open and we could sit wherever.
Yep.
We had name tags. I felt more official,
A little bit.
you know,
Yeah.
more prestige.
When a big play happens, like that last Jeanty run, where it's impossible to know what's going to happen, but he keeps getting better and better. And during the run, we were all standing.
Like
Yeah.
the press box was on their feet.
stood
We
up.
were
No
all
way.
like, oh, and then everybody's like,
Really?
No
you know,
cheering. And I could see the guy next to me who's from First Kick Was Good.
Yeah.
And his legs were like moving under the
he
desk.
got up. He got up
yeah,
like
and
this.
we stand. And yes, part of it is because we're Boise State fans, but I think it's also just because you're watching Ashton Jeanty and he's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so you can't help but stand up. But it was just so there's a little bit of mini celebration, I guess. Me and Brandon are doing some silent high fives.
Oh, we were doing lots of high fiving. Yeah,
Awesome.
you got to. You can't
Awesome.
go to that game and not celebrate. I mean, like, get out of here, dude. Yeah, that was cool. I do want to talk UNLV.
Let's do it.
They should have paid that guy $100,000 that left.
Didn't
Oh, you're wishing they would have because now they're better?
They're better.
They're better.
They're like
Didn't
legitimately
Circus
better.
Sports come up with 100,000?
They did.
Did they really?
It didn't do it. They didn't give it to him. or
UNLV
what?
was like, we don't want it.
Really? Is that what
They
happened?
didn't want it, man.
Get
Dude, the backup only had 3 incompletions. Why was the first guy ever
man.
playing anyways?
Wow.
And the team seemed like they were more for this backup guy.
Yes. They
happened
killed
there?
Fresno. I didn't watch the whole game. I watched little clips, but they took it to Fresno. That's a statement win for them because I don't think they'd beaten Fresno in like 8 years or something.
I've had a lot of thoughts on UNLV since we last spoke.
Oh,
Share them.
May I?
Yeah.
they're in the Mountain West for good. 25 mil.
That's what I've been thinking about. Because why, if you're UNLV, why would you choose to stay in the Mountain West Conference? And
I'd be so pissed if I was their fan.
yeah, because you're looking at, you're like,
we have a chance to go.
yeah, you're like, wait a minute,
So
wait a minute,
pissed.
what? It's almost like this is going to be a reference nobody knows. But do you remember the Jimmy Fallon?
Here we go.
Oh shoot!
Tight pants, Will Ferrell, Jimmy Fallon.
It
What are
was
we
the
talking
lady
about?
it was the Australian lady who's married to.
Nicole
Nicole
Kidman.
Kidman, yes.
Yes.
And she like,
She's like, I
Thought he
liked
was
you,
hot.
and he's like, you like? Wait, what?
yeah, he didn't find out to
So
the interview.
Yeah, so he didn't know later. So
She
there's
had
this-
a crush. She liked him.
Yeah.
So they
And
talk
he was,
about the
like,
first time
playing
they
video
met.
games.
They were talking about the first time they met, and that she went over to his apartment with some friends, and it comes out she's like, well, I had a crush on you, and then she kept talking. He's like,
he was like wearing sweats and
What?
playing video games.
you like me? So he's like, I had a chance with Nicole Kidman. He like had no, and he couldn't comprehend it. And I just feel like UNLV, it's not like we're Nicole Kidman, but I feel like, what are you doing? You're staying down in the Mountain West. The Mountain West, you're trying to get what, Louisiana Tech or Tulane, or not Tulane, Toledo? Toledo. They were like, there's
They're
some
talking
names.
to Texas State.
Okay,
But
I
yeah,
mean,
no,
it's
it's
not
trash.
anybody great.
It's
and so what?
trash.
And so I honestly think like, okay, maybe they do have financial issues that they need that $25 million for, but for what? That's like a Band-Aid. Like you're not going to make
Band-Aid.
more money
No.
with the TV contract playing these other teams. So what are you doing? Like, what are you committing to necessarily? And so maybe they're just not ready for that.
What would
That's
Brad
a stupid
Bedell
way.
say? What would Brad Bedell say they're committing to?
They asked, dude. You gotta say that.
Brad Bedell is so good. And we talked to him that one time. We asked him to come on the
did.
pod.
He would come.
And
needs
then
to
all
get
of a sudden,
on.
yeah, we need to get him on. He is so
He's
good on the
hilarious,
post.
dude.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
hilarious. He was self-censoring himself last night for not swearing. He's like trying not to swear. But I guess I just don't understand. I mean, they're a great team right now, right?
You're right.
And despite a lot of challenges, losing their freshman quarterback last year, losing their star quarterback this year,
losing their fourth leading rusher.
losing their fourth leading rusher, but they just keep coming back. And even in the coaches poll, they're at what?
They're in 21, 22.
Yeah, they're high.
And they're ranked in the AP.
Yeah.
They're 25. First time ever. And that's the thing. Maybe I'm still convinced that Larry, what's his name? Something Odom? Gary Odom? Their coach.
Barry.
Barry Odom.
Barry.
I'm not convinced he's there after this year. So do they have staying power? But there's money in Vegas. And if the Circa guy, if they want to invest in UNLV football, it's all about hiring a coach. We know this at Boise State, right? Dirk Cutter, Chris Peter, or Dan Hawkins. It's all about the Nanny Avalos. And look at this. 3 weeks in, we're ranked. It's all about getting the right coach and the right culture. And so can they do it when he leaves? Because I'm convinced he'll leave. What? I would be so... And
I don't get it.
Is there any
yeah.
substance to the idea that they wouldn't do it because Nevada wouldn't come with them?
Oh,
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I saw
that been said?
there was
Yeah,
someone.
I read that, yeah.
Yeah, that was like a national,
That it's like it's either us and Nevada or there's
no,
nothing.
yeah, I saw.
That seems dumb.
A Nevada State Board regent was like, we don't know where that came from. They haven't been in the same league until recently. They've always been separated.
Yeah.
So that's not a thing. That would be super frustrating as a fan because you get some money up front,
don't
great, pay a
know.
couple bills, but like, how exciting! Like seriously, the Mountain West will be relegated to Conference USA status. I mean, who do they have after that? Who do they have?
Oh, they have
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
It's trash.
Nevada, Wyoming.
San Jose State.
Yeah, no, come on now.
We're not getting better.
No, man.
I'm
Like,
just kidding.
I feel bad. Like they finally have this momentum, and it's like you're getting
They're
invited.
not
Now, granted, the
capitalizing.
Pac-12 is not the Pac-12 that we all know it.
Yeah.
But it's way better, way better. You could argue that maybe they should just have combined. That's an argument. But as it stands right now, between those two, come on.
Well, you got to strike in college football when the iron's hot.
Yeah.
And our iron was hot before conference realignment hit. And it's
Yeah.
to our everlasting disappointment that it
Yep.
is that way because Cincinnati and Houston are sitting pretty.
And Cincinnati, what are they?
They're done. They've been gone.
They had one good coach, Fickle. For right when they were, and they're in a big market, but
yeah.
they hit it right perfectly. And they've been trashed since he left.
Yeah.
Houston's no better.
No.
Yeah.
Houston getting trashed. Well, speaking of getting trashed, San Diego State got pretty.
Central Michigan, come on.
Is that Maction?
They should be the best team in our league.
Is Central Michigan the team we're going to play?
No, we get Western.
The Broncos.
Directional state
Directional
school.
Michigan. I can't bag on Dave. He's done such a good job with that stadium that did the scheduling, and we're just going to let pass for right now. That's an
Oh,
off-season
yeah.
topic.
Speaking of Jeremiah Dickey,
Oh, we had a sighting. He acknowledged us.
we said hi to him in the
You
press
did?
box. Yeah.
He must have known I wasn't
He-
there. He must have known I wasn't
Well, that's
there.
what Matt said.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny because he walked by and we're like, "Hey, JD," and he turns around. And he's like, "Oh, hey guys."
Yeah, he walked past because we gave him the head nod,
Yeah.
and then we're like, "Hey," but he had passed, and he had to turn around, and was like, "Oh, hey guys."
He's a busy guy.
He's a
on
busy
game
guy.
day. He's a busy guy on game day. San Diego State should do a lot better. The Mountain West right now is not it's not doing well, dude. There's not really. I mean, UNLV, credit to them because I'm not sure how often we have a ranked team in the Mountain West anymore without Boise State. Because Utah State,
and Fresno.
if I was
have
going
a
to
little
quote Bedell this year,
bit.
they asked, dude. You don't want to let down. I actually like one fan said, I'd like to congratulate Ashton Jeanty on 500 yards rushing against Utah State. He's a Utah State fan.
You know what? If we can get to, and we got Utah State, then Hawaii, and then a bye, and then we have
UNLV.
Vegas. So, and I don't think they have a
Sweet.
They have a bye count. I don't know. That is going to be a great game. It's a Friday. The nice thing about that one, it's a Friday night game, so there's only you know what I mean. We're going to be out of state for. You should.
That'd be a
I would
fun
go
game.
if I wasn't going to be.
Legion tickets for like $100.
October 8th,
25th.
25th.
It should be really good.
Friday. 8:30, I think, is the kick.
Doesn't matter. Get there. I'd be there, but we're
It's at
going.
Allegiant.
We're out of
Allegiant's
town
cool.
for soccer thing, but
Yeah, let's go. Brandon's
Go.
going
I'm in
through.
Arizona.
Go. Oh, is that good or bad?
I could fly Arizona to
Phoenix to Vegas.
Phoenix to Vegas.
There you go.
Starting to work out.
Dude,
All right.
do it. Go.
What, I mean, I'm sure we could request press box, access.
Yeah.
You could try.
I'm sure we
We
could.
tried this.
All
one.
right. Yeah.
Who
I
would've
guess
thought?
keep until they say no.
Just bring the one we got. See how it goes.
Funny. Yeah, man. I mean, that'll be an exciting game for sure.
That'll be
UNLV.
good.
Cool.
All right. Well, any thoughts about Utah? I mean, we haven't looked
Should
at all.
we have any thoughts about Utah State? I mean, their run defense is.
I have
Like
a few
118th.
thoughts about hot takes.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I honestly think, Matt, if you lose a hot take, you should take your shirt off and we should hit you with pickleball
Ouch.
balls.
Pickleball balls.
Dude.
Like with
Like
a
Sting.
paddle?
Yeah.
Like Sting?
Like Sting. Like
Anyone get that
Can we-
Sting reference?
Can we start
ping pong?
this after the next one?
Yeah, me and Matt need to
Didn't
do
you
push-ups.
have a hot take?
It's
Did
some
you have a
stuff.
hot take?
Yeah.
What was your hot take?
Oh, it was Jeanty's. It was 2 weeks ago, remember? The one that you called me on was
Okay,
really not
yeah,
a hot
yeah.
take, but yeah.
That's such a hot take.
That was horrible.
I mean, what's Matt's punishment going to be? Come on, we can't just let it
That's
slide.
not bad. I like Sting. Sting's not bad. With a pickleball, that's
Yeah.
rough.
Dude,
Is it?
he got a touchdown. In my book, Bolt got a touchdown.
Nah, I don't think so.
Check the records.
We haven't got. I would like to see some suggestions about the hot take punishments.
I think don't be afraid of mild pain. If you're gonna send suggestions in, like you gotta, like I had a pretty weak
That was
hot
so
take.
weak, dude. It was a nice warm
lukewarm
shower.
a hot take.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you got bailed
yeah,
out.
that
Hey,
that
look,
was
I'm
horrible.
just doing whatever I
Yeah,
was told.
yeah.
Guys,
Okay.
can I read a comment by the Jittery Goat?
Okay.
Do it.
He said, I tell everybody I know who are Bronco fans or not about your podcast.
Oh,
Okay.
sweet. Thanks,
it's
man.
unique, entertaining,
Jittery goat.
information, and one of the best. Based on his profile picture, I don't know if it's him. Might be
Okay.
him. Older gentleman.
Okay.
And we love to appeal to any audience.
Hey,
Old, young, whoever.
Yeah.
So thanks for the
Hey,
comment.
the cookies. Did you see that?
Yeah. What happened?
She commented. She
Oh,
commented
did
on the
she?
post.
Oh, she had great
The last
cookies.
one.
We need
So she
more.
listened, yeah.
We need more.
Right into Chris Rice. You remember Chris Rice
yeah.
at the game last
Yeah.
night? He was like, "Hey, I've been listening to your guys' pod." Like, sweet, dude.
Yeah.
He was a good basketball player.
Chris
Yeah.
Rice?
Remember? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was the best player on our team when he was a senior. We were sophomores.
We ran into Bronco Blameyer, got a selfie with
Oh,
him.
yeah. Did you see that? Yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah, Bronco.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wearing-
Good stuff.
Wearing a pink vest.
Yeah. He's doing
was
like
on the field.
photography.
He was on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, I like this one. We getting out
Is
of
this
here?
reggae?
Yeah. Well, no. Do we have anything else that we need to discuss at all?
I don't think so. Utah State got to win the game. We're better than them. Let's not, let's
Yeah.
take it to them.
Wanna know
The Lions like
mentality?
26.
20,
so
26.
24, maybe 24.
I think. I
What's
think
their
it's
record?
So I think they're like 2-2 or something.
Okay.
1-3. They've lost to
Utah
USC
State
and
is
Utah.
1-3.
They lost to USC and Utah.
Ooh.
And
They're
then they're
on
1-1.
they're on a 3-game losing streak.
But it's a trap.
Yeah, these are the type of games that
Yeah.
if you're a good team, you got to take care of
Yeah.
business.
Yep.
Yep.
But it's sold out. Should
Want
be a
Sire
great
Gaines
crowd.
to come back.
Sorry, yeah. I feel like Breezy, he ran into a lot of walls. It felt like. I don't think that was all his fault. He
he's
got
gonna-
4 carries and he just dude, I don't. I
He
mean,
ran right into him, just fell down.
no.
It's gonna open up for him this week. Breezy's gonna have a good game.
I always
this
felt
week.
like Breezy
I'm telling
just
you.
makes sense to run him on the outside.
Yeah, he's fast.
Same with Jeanty. Get him outside.
They did.
He'll run
They,
it.
they
did.
had some
They did.
sweeps and it worked.
Yeah.
Get him on
Great
the edge.
game.
Great game.
Top 5 game, apparently.
I think so. Absolutely.
Top?
Did you see Tom Scott?
Best game experience in
He's-
37 years.
He's been.
That's a
He's had
big
over
deal.
300 games, and he said that the atmosphere was the best he's ever been at.
So this is the new number 1.
Yeah, there's what recency bias is, right?
Yes. Okay.
Potential recency bias, but it was absolutely top 5 no
That's
matter
why
what.
It was awesome.
every single season, Prater comes out with a poll. Is this the biggest game in BSU history?
But it was big time environment. It was big time atmosphere. Get to a game if you have not or not been for a while, because it's a new experience.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Worth it.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Right? Nothing else?
No.
We'll be back. When's the game? Saturday?
Yeah.
Saturday, 5 p.m.
Probably next
So,
Sunday.
Next Sunday, we'll be back. Shirts and skins, baby. Let's get it. Go Broncos.